So I recently set up this MCP server that query my home lab infrastructure just by asking questions. It's super simple, very lightweight, and this is perfect for anyone who want to connect AI to their actual data, whether that is your network inventory, database, or any APIs you are working with. So let's check it out. So I want to quickly show how I set this up in my home lab and go through some of the cool stuff you can do with it. And by the way, if you are entirely new to MCP and wanting talking about, just check out my previous video where I explain the fundamentals. That will give you all the foundational knowledge that you need. But let me stop talking and let's start connecting AI to your data. So if you want to find out more about this, you can take a look at my GitHub. I have put together all the commands and the resources you need for this tutorial right here. You will find the link in the description. So let me walk you through what we have got. First, there is a quick overview what MCP actually is. Host, server, resources, just in case you need a refresher. And here are all the installation commands we are going to run. I have organized them step by step so that you can just copy and paste these into your terminal. We have got Node.js installation, Claude Code setup, UV for the Python package management, then the actual MCP server deployment. And down here, I have included some example queries you can try once everything is set up. These are the actual commands I use in my home lab. Now let me show you where you can find the right MCP server. If you go to netboxlab.com, documentation section, you will find the MCP right here. This explains everything about NetBox MCP integration. And if you scroll down, there is a link for official GitHub repository. This is maintained by NetBox Labs and it is real deal. By the way, there are MCP servers for tens of different tools. GitHub, Slack, database, you name it. Same process for any of them. Alright, let's actually set this up. Now let's talk about the lab here. So I'm running everything in EvenG. This is my home lab virtualization platform. I got Ubuntu desktop machine with a software version of 22.04. This is where we install the Claude Code and run the MCP server. Then we got another server running NetBox on port 8000. This is my network documentation and IPAM tool. And if you're not familiar with NetBox, I got other videos covering that. Inside NetBox, I have 3 IOSphere routers documented. And these are auto discovered in our previous video. Each device have management IPs, loopback address, all that good stuff. And here is the cool part. We don't even need the actual routers running for this demo. The MCP server just queries NetBox. It's read-only access to your documentation. Now if you watch my previous video on MCP fundamentals, you know there are 3 parts. First is the host, where we interact with AI. That's a Claude Code here. Then comes server, which is a bridge. We have NetBox MCP server for that. Third component is the resource. That's a NetBox service itself on port 8000. That's our data source. And both host and the server run on single Ubuntu machine. They communicate through STDIO, basically a local connection. No network complexity. Alright, let's go ahead and install our prerequisite. So looking at my GitHub, the first thing we need is the Node.js. Claude Code is built with JavaScript. We need Node.js to run it. Think of it as an engine that powers AI interface. And it also gives npm Node Package Manager. If you have used pip in Python, same concept. So let me verify the Node version and the npm version currently running. Make sure that we have the Node version 20 or higher. Perfect, we are good. Now we can install the Claude Code itself. So Anthropic give you a few ways to use Claude. There are web interface, desktop app for Windows and Mac, but for Linux we use Claude Code, the CLI. And honestly, for MCP work, the CLI is actually more powerful. This takes about a minute. We can verify it running by Claude version command itself. Now one more thing we need, UV. So here is the thing, the MCP server is written in Python and UV handles all these dependencies. It's like pip built in Rust. It's ridiculously fast. But more importantly, the MCP server is designed around UV. One command and it creates virtual environment, install everything and run the server, all automatic. Alright, all the prerequisite done, Node.js, Claude Code, UV, all ready. Now let's grab the actual MCP server. Now here is a command to clone the MCP server from NetBox Lab. And there it is, the NetBox MCP server is in our project folder. Now the server need a permission to access your data. It can't just walk in, right? So we need to create an API token in the NetBox. Now let's jump into the NetBox Lab instance. Admin settings, API token, create new. I'll call this as MCP server and copy that token. Keep it safe, you can see only once. Now comes to the moment of truth. Let's test if the server can actually talk to the netbox. Now watch what happens. UV is doing its magic. See, it is creating virtual environment, reading dependencies, downloading the fast MCP, HTTPS, dynamic. And there it is, the fast MCP banner appears. The server name, netbox, transport, stdio. This is our local connection working. The MCP server can reach netbox. So the server works, but right now the Claude doesn't know it exists. So let's connect them. This is the command that registers our MCP server with Claude Code. Basically, we are telling Claude, hey, there is MCP server called NetBox. Here is how to run it and use it when I ask some questions. Let's verify if it is registered by running the Claude MCP list command. It checks MCP server health. Then the check mark appears saying connected. Nice. Now let's fire up the Claude by running the Claude command. It goes for setting up the terminal. First, the text editor style. We'll go with the default one. Then it prompts for the login. I'm using my Claude subscription. You can also go with the pay per use with API credits. And I'm skipping few other settings to keep this video shorter. You can explore those for your own. Great, we are successfully logged in. Here we can see the Claude model, which is Opus 4.5, and right there our NetBox MCP server is ready to go. Alright, everything is connected now. Now let's explore what are the things it can do really for us. So let's start simple. List all devices in my NetBox. Now watch what happens. It called netbox underscore get underscore object. That's a tool, a function MCP server exposes. Claude figured it out what I needed, picked up the right tool, made the API call, and formatted the result. 3 devices, names, status, type, location, IP address, all right there. Think about for a second. I typed a question, Claude did the rest. No script, no code, just conversation. Show me all devices from the MindDC side with their roles. Now watch, you might see Claude thinking out loud here. This is called pontification. It's working through the logic before answering. And results come back. And interesting, it's actually point out that some devices don't have the roles assigned. This is not just answering my question, it's also giving the useful feedback about the gaps in my documentation. I don't even ask for that. Pretty cool. Let me try something else. List all IP address and what they are assigned to. Different data type. But Claude just picks it right endpoint automatically. Management IPs, loopbacks, unassigned address, complete audit in one question. Think about doing this in old way, writing script, parsing JSON, clicking through the interfaces. So yeah, this is basically how you can use MCP to connect Claude to your data. I think this adds some really interesting capabilities. Instead of writing script or clicking through the UIs, just ask questions and get the answers. And couple of things to remember. This is read only. MCP server queries the data. It doesn't modify anything. And the best part is the same process works for any MCP server out there, whether it's database, API, or any other tools you are working with. So in this video, we connected to existing MCP server. But what if you want to build your own? Your own tools, your own logic, completely customized to your needs. This is exactly what we're building in the next video. We built a custom MCP server from scratch using fast MCP. And I'm really curious to hear your thoughts. What do you think? What would you connect AI to? Let's drop your ideas in the comments. I would like to chat with you there. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you being here. See you in the next video. Take care.